once again, the Patriot Radio News Hour live on this hump day. We had rain in the Valley of the Sun, which means it's total mass pandemonium. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. Listen, we got it all set up for you now. You go out there, we've got all the social media stuff right there on the right-hand side. Super easy now to download the show if you want to do it on Google Play or iTunes or I don't even know. There's a bunch of different ways. They're all up there, though. Just click on the links, and there you go. You're off and running. Twitter, Facebook, you name it, it's all out there. The Metals plan, of course, all the news, the articles, the videos. We even throw cartoons up there now. It's always evolving. I got to tell you, man, I'm so excited about our trip up to Colorado. So if you weren't listening yesterday, we are going to, and I say we, Wendy and I are going to be up in Colorado at the radio station. We're having a big meet and greet. This thing's going to be, it's going to be off the chain. I don't want to have any of you mountain hermits get in your car, get down there. We're going to have a big event from 11 to 2. That is March the 10th. It's a Saturday. Okay, so that way you don't have any issues. If you got the day off, from 11 to 2. I'm going to feed you. Yeah, all catered. Come on down. Put a face to the name. If you want to do business with us, we're going to have a ton of product there. At the radio station, we are opening a satellite office there. We're bringing a brand new show as well to Colorado. I talked to Michael yesterday. Somewhere in the middle of March. I don't want to put a firm date on it yet, but we're working on it somewhere in the middle of March. Instead of, you normally get this show repeated in Colorado in the afternoon, you're going to get a whole new show. Whole new show brought to you by us. We got so many exciting things that are going to go on with KHNC. You know, we've been with these people for 22-plus years, and actually went before Eric was on the air back there in the old Norm Resnick days, before the old station burnt down, and we're going to put it back where we found it. You guys are a great community up there. I'm so excited. This is something, it's so funny. Is Eric and I talked about this for years and never was able to pull the trigger. Big shout out to Sharon and Michael and Cody and Danette up there. Just thrilled to death as to what is coming for Colorado. So make sure, put it on your calendar. Okay, no mountain hermits. You guys know how to do it. There's some snow on the ground, no big deal. Make sure you get out to KHNC Saturday, March the 10th from 11 to 2. Going to have a great meet and greet. We're going to feed you. We're going to do all of that. You're going to meet Jason, our new man up there that's going to be handling business up there for us, and just so excited for that. So be prepared for that. Yesterday, last night, in the rain, I was at No Safe Spaces. And you know what? I've been so busy with the Colorado thing, I forgot all about it. I actually was one of the sponsors of the event. It was with Adam Carolla and with Dennis Prager, and talking about No Safe Places, how the college campuses are, freedom of speech no longer exists, and for those of you that were out there, I mean, there was a couple thousand, I think they sold out. It was a sold-out event. It was at the GCU Arena, and you know what the best part was? I don't agree with everything they say, but here's the best part. That's okay. Right? Unlike a lot of these other places where they just shout you down. Heaven forbid you have your own opinion on something. But I was proud to sponsor the event. Was happy to be there. And I'll tell you what, that thing, it was packed. It was tough to get, it rained. So I don't know what it is with the rain. We can't function. We don't know how to drive. And I've turned into one. Well, I'm not a good driver. I'm one of the guys you got to watch out for. But it was chaos. So it got off to a late start because they just couldn't get everybody in there in time. So it kicked off a little late, but it went. I mean, it was. I had to go. I left during the question and answer part. Here's the nice part. You know what? There was a lot of students wanting to ask questions, which I thought was tremendous over at Grand Canyon University. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a whole lot about what's happening behind the scenes. The Jerome Powell, man, he said some things yesterday. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be fired up because it's just an absolute ripping off, a fleecing of all of us. It's a corrupt system. We need to demand change. It needs to be fixed. And it was incredible. In front of Congress and sitting there in front of our elected officials, and you know what? They didn't do anything. They didn't hold him to task. They didn't go after him for his comments. None of it. Because you know what? It's not about you or I. And I've been saying this for how long now? They don't care about us. You're not going to believe what he said. That's coming up next. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. And, and I was sitting there at the event last night, no safe spaces. One of the things that I do agree with Prager, common sense. It seems to have just disappeared. And when you look at what's happened, and I focus financially, right? And they're more political and all that stuff, but financially speaking, right? Spiritually, that's up to you. I know where I sit, but that's up to you. Politically, I don't care. I really don't. Because you know what? I don't think there's really a difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Now, some of you may disagree with that. That's okay. They believe in big government. I don't care what the Democrats say or the Republicans say that they don't. They do. They say that they don't, but yet when we get them in power, what do? And it's crushing us. It's devastating you. They've done so many things behind the scenes to encircle your wealth. It's shameful. It is. Here's the funny thing, and they know this, 99% of the people have no idea what really is going to happen. They don't even know it exists. And if you tell them what the laws are, they'll deny it. Because they just don't want to believe that it's not about them, right? They want to believe, oh, no, the Federal Reserve, they care about us. Wall Street cares about us. My bank cares about me. No, they don't. Oh, by the way, I hate to say it, Wells Fargo's got more trouble coming. Just an FYI. I'm giving you a heads up now. Yeah, more trouble coming for Wells Fargo. And you know what? Here's the sad part. Just like that NCAA, I don't know if you heard about the basketball thing, the FBI thing. Listen, there's been corruption in basketball for 30 years. Trust me, I know. I've been a basketball coach. I've had kids that play in college. I've coached on the major club scene, and I'm going to tell you right now, that ain't news. And while I'm glad that maybe something may finally be being done, I'd have much rather the FBI stop that shooting in Florida instead of worrying about a basketball coach somewhere and doing their job and making sure they're getting people and taking the time. They got notified I don't know how many times about that kid that shot up that school in Florida. They didn't do anything. But I'm getting sidetracked. So I'm ready. I never even know what I'm going to say. So yesterday, after I get off the air, and I'm listening to Powell's testimony, and I'm kind of laughing because they're making it sound like he was all hawkish, and then they use those words, and it is ridiculous. He really didn't say anything. He didn't. Outside of, hey, I think the economy's done a little better since December. Unfortunately, the data doesn't support that, but we'll get to that. Here's what really got me going. And I was upset about it when I heard him say it, and then I got more upset after I was at the No Safe Spaces, because it really started putting things together, because they talked a lot about freedom and being able to, like Adam Carolla told a story about how bought this property, wants to tear this house down, and he's in California, and all the things that he's got to go through. I mean, from putting a fence around a couple of trees that he has no intention of taking them down. They're not even in the way, but the states required him to pay for that, and permits, this, that. I want to get into all of that. But talking about freedom. And again, I'm worried about your financial freedom. That is it, right? And I try to stay in my lane. Sometimes I get outside of it, but for the most part, this is what I'm talking about. And they have done everything, and they've done it subversely. They've done it quietly. They never let you know, and it's almost an embarrassment that these banks and these credit cards, right, when they send you these statements, they have all of the fine print, and they lawyer it up, right? So they make sure, hey, listen, you're not even going to read it. Listen, I'm as guilty. I don't read it. Who reads it? You need a magnifying glass just to try to read it. And they put in all this stuff that nobody ever sees. So one person in the House Financial Service Committee, so he was this, one of the committees he was testifying in front of was the House Financial Services Committee. Okay? So you think, okay, if there's a committee that's looking out for your bank account, right, it'd be this committee. And they asked him about the interest rate that the banks are paying to its customers, as well as the interest that the Federal Reserve is paying to the banks, which is disgusting, right? Wouldn't you love it if the Federal Reserve started paying you every month for the money you didn't spend? Right? That's what they do with the banks. Yeah, it's like free money for them. Why? Because they can't. They talked about how the Federal Reserve has taken interest rates to zero. The Fed's funds rate has risen to 1 point. I think they actually say it's like 1.3 or whatever it is. Between 1.25 and 1.5. And yet the banks have only given consumers 0.1%. Here was his answer. Retail deposits, as you know, apparently this guy knows, are sticky on the way up. Yeah, they're sticky. Yeah. As you know. Hey, banks, just because we give them more and pay them more interest, well, it doesn't mean that they're going to give it to you. Because it's sticky, see? Sticky, complicated. They generally come up with a lag. Listen, they started raising rates in December of 2015. Today is the last day of February 2018. And they're up 0.1%. In January, the average rate on a 12-month certificate of deposit with a minimum $10,000. Now remember, let's not forget. And forget about Jay Powell, forget about Janet Yellen, forget about Ben Bernanke. Heck, you can even forget about Alan Greenspan. Right? You go back to Volcker and all the Fed guys before that. You go back to all these economists. Go back to when Bernanke and Yellen were going to Harvard and getting their PhDs. You were supposed to be able to, when you got older, buy a certificate of deposit from your bank and live off the interest. Right? You're supposed to get 7, 8%, 9. If inflation was a little hot, you get up to 10. Today, 0.29. .29. That is only 1/10, 0.1 or 1/10 higher than the lowest rate since the current economic expansion began. So I went back. I tried to find the lowest possible. The lowest I could find was 0.19. The Fed's funds rate was at 0.5 at that time. Other deposit rates are just as bad. Shoppers can find a higher rate on a 1-year CD. That's sitting at maybe 2%, right? Maybe. The low deposit rates show up in bank profitability. They said that the bank's net interest margin rose to a 5-year high. So here he is sitting there telling you how great of a job, and we found Goldilocks. They found Goldilocks at the expense of us. How is that freedom for us? How can you have liberty in the pursuit of happiness? Right? How can you have that when the banks are allowed to rip us off? Because it's sticky? It's not sticky. There's nothing sticky about it. You would think there would be a law in place that says, hey, listen, if the Fed's going to pay you more, you got to pay your customer more. And here's the thing. Think about this for just a minute. Why do we play this game? Why would we tolerate this? Why are they allowed to do this? Don't you think, listen, let's just play and level the playing field. The Fed's funds rate sits at 5%, and that's where it stays no matter what. Maybe it's 6%, right? If it's at 5, hey, I should be able to get 7.5% on a CD. And then you could actually plan. How can you plan anything? We don't know. We can wake up tomorrow. Who knows what happens, and all of a sudden, Wall Street craps the bed, the bond market goes crazy, and everybody's losing a fortune. Think about how much easier life would be if you could actually plan. Right? If you knew, hey, this is where it's going to be. I can live with that. I know what the rules are. You know, one of the things that they talked about at the thing yesterday, they talked about how people like to be taken care of. Right? You think about it, and I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, you know, what's mom and dad's job? Right? Hey, take care of your kids. Right? You grow up with that mindset, right? We talk about it all the time, how entitled this generation is, and more entitled than this and that and the other, right? We get it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. We also like to be told what to do. Well, I don't. I tell my wife all the time, don't tell me what to do. But for the most part, I actually do like it, right? Tell me what to do. What are the rules? And they set up all of these rules. And yet the most important rule when you really think about it, when it comes to the household that we live in, whether it's my household or your household or anybody in America's household, don't you think we should know what the rules are? Wouldn't that just make sense? Hey, I don't have to worry because I know that I'm going to be able, when I get to that mythical, because it's becoming mythical, that mythical retirement age, right, for the lucky few, I can go out and I can buy a CD or a certificate of deposit, and I don't have to worry, right? I don't have to worry about the bond market. I don't have to worry about Wall Street. I don't have to worry about Jerome Powell. That just makes too much sense. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back right after the break.
This is the Phyllis Schlafly Report, a daily commentary continuing the conservative pro-family legacy of Phyllis Schlafly. And now, from the archives of Phyllis Schlafly Eagles, here is Phyllis Schlafly.
One of the biggest lies taught to young Americans is that our Constitution and laws require government to enforce a total separation of church and state. Here is a list of familiar examples that prove America has never mandated a complete separation of church and state. Our Pledge of Allegiance contains the words, "One nation under God." A portrait of Moses with the Ten Commandments tablet is on the wall of the United States Supreme Court. The Lincoln Memorial has chiseled in it, "Judgments of the Lord are righteous." There is a prayer room in Congress. The tomb of the unknown soldier is dedicated to a soldier known but to God. The United States Supreme Court opens with the words, "God save the United States and this honorable court," and witnesses swear to tell the truth, so help them God. The inscription on the Liberty Bell cites Leviticus 25:10. All our military branches pay the salaries of chaplains. We have mandated a national day of prayer. We have mandated Thanksgiving when we are asked to give thanks to God. We celebrate Christmas, the birth of Jesus Christ, as a national holiday. The last stanza of our national anthem refers to God. Our Declaration of Independence refers to God 4 times. Our calendar is dated from the year of the birth of Jesus Christ. Our coins and money bills are inscribed with the words, "In God We Trust." Famous American songs, "My Country 'Tis of Thee," "America the Beautiful," and the Battle Hymn of the Republic all mention God. The United States Constitution refers to Jesus when it was signed just above John Hancock's signature in the year of our Lord, 1787. Parents, you should remind your children of these facts because public schools are teaching them absolutely nothing about our religious history and heritage.
This has been the Phyllis Schlafly Report from Phyllis Schlafly Eagles. When America turns our back on our Christian heritage, we shouldn't be surprised when biblical precepts like honesty, kindness, respect, justice, and freedom are abandoned. At phyllisschlafly.com, we still believe in rights endowed by our Creator. If you agree, find out more at phyllisschlafly.com. Thanks for listening to the Phyllis Schlafly Report.
We're being conned. That simple. There's a reason why the Federal Reserve doesn't exist in the Constitution. There's a reason why the money is supposed to be gold and silver, to stop the con from happening. And that's what we've got. The Federal Reserve, they're con artists. And all as they have done is made it it's impossible. How do you prepare? Right? And for those of you out there that's like, but I think things are going to go okay, and I'm not preparing right now. You have no clue how dangerous it is, and it's laughable when you sit there and I don't see it. I can't see it. Wall Street did something it's never done in its history. Went up 40% in a year. That's not normal. Pull your head out of your backside and wake up. They've been raising rates, yet the bank isn't paying a penny more. Like I said, I picked the best case scenario, found the absolute lowest rate I could find, and even that, they're not paying. And they're telling you because it's sticky. It's not sticky. There's a war going on. You just don't know it yet. The war is over your money. The government can't spend anybody's money and give it to somebody else without taking it from somebody first. Well, we got $21 trillion that says otherwise, and it's going to be 40. But guess what? They put the rules in place. They're coming. Make no mistake about it. Your financial well-being is under attack, and they're trying to pretend that it isn't. Think about this. Think about any mob guy. They'd be embarrassed if they did this to their clients. Right? Hey, come on. We'll treat you better than that. Right? We're gonna. Even they would treat you better. Right? They're going to raise rates allegedly 3 more times this year. You think this rate's going to go? It's not. It's going to stay right there. Because here's the bottom line. This is so predicated. This bubble that they've blown, they can't afford for you to do that anymore. And that's really the truth. The banks are broke. Oh, they're doing so much better. Yeah, they get $30-40 billion a year from the Federal Reserve for free. Pending home sales, these data points, we're going to get to some data. Pending home sales came out today, down 4.7%. Another one, they're looking for some, I don't know why they were looking for a rise. This was a January number. They say that's the lowest reading since October 2014 for pending homes. So what does that tell you? These are signed contracts now. These are going to be homes that are going to close in February, mostly in February, and some will roll into March. Not looking very good. The biggest monthly decline since 2010, the lowest reading since October 2014. These are signed contracts that have not closed. The December reading was also revised lower. By the way, they did revise fourth quarter GDP. Not surprising. It was revised lower, now at 2.5%. That number came out today. Fourth quarter GDP was only 2.5%. That's not 3%. By the way, remember a few weeks ago and I was infuriated by it. They were out on the idiot box that Fox and CNBC. The Atlanta Fed says first quarter GDP is going to be 5.4%, and they were all dancing around. The Atlanta Fed, and I told you this, they always start high and then comes away. They revised yesterday. They revised every week. They come out with a new number. It's down to 2.6 for the first quarter. As the real data points start coming in, and you start to really listen. I'm going to say this: maybe we should be grateful about the tax cuts and the spending bill, because without that, we may be in a recession already. Just because the bond market's gone up, it hadn't even gone up a point, 75 basis points. And look at the crippling effect. Look at what's happened to housing. Look at what's happened to autos. Start paying attention. All of the great numbers, really, it's a continuation of the Obama and that policy. But where they had the survey data always looked real good. Like you see, consumer confidence is at an all-time high. Business confidence is at an all-time high. Small business confidence is those are all surveys. And it's great to be confident. Doesn't mean you're actually going to spend any more money. You know what's so funny? If they called me today and they said double, how do you think business is going to be in the second half of this year? I'd be down. I'd be, yeah. I think it's going to be real good. Okay, right? I'd be part of the all-time. I would be, because I'd be positive. Because I think business is going to be incredible. The problem is, it's not in the way that most people would think, especially not the way the Federal Reserve thinks. They created a bubble, and you pay for it. I don't care. You're going to pay for it, right? Right now, think about how much freer you could be if you could get a decent rate of return on a CD, on a certificate of deposit. Think how much better golf would be. Instead, you got to go out there and try to, talk about Bitcoin and talk about what? Oh, boy, I hope the stock market rally keeps going. Which isn't. Right? We know. I don't know. Will it get to a new high? Maybe. It may. But, it's kind of about done, isn't it? I would love it if it just stayed there. I think that would be great news, right? I don't know how many hundreds of billions of dollars of stock these companies would have to buy back for that to happen. But I would love it. But when you have these debt markets, listen, these are, I don't know, what is the derivatives market? We don't even know what that stuff is, those dark pools. It's like $700 trillion. So when you're repricing debt, you're not just repricing a few trillion. Right? You're not just repricing with a 1 point, I don't know what it is, 1.7, $1.8 trillion of new debt that we're going to add this year. You're not just repricing that. You're not just repricing the $7 trillion of debt that has to be rolled over this year. You're not just repricing all of the mortgages and all the auto loans and credit card payments. You're talking about $700 trillion of repricing. But we can't pay you any more interest because it's sticky. 800-951-0592. The Dow is down. It was up over 140 points. Now it's down 40-plus as Lowe's. Not so good. Already? Yeah, Lowe's missed expectations. Sales weren't as good there. Of course, that kind of makes sense, right? The housing market looks like it's starting to buckle here. Crude oil inventories, man, I was getting worried. I thought crude oil prices were going to jump again. They're saying that this summer, by the way, just prepare, going to be the highest gas prices in the last 4 years. They're talking about $3 a gallon. I don't know why. I really don't. You know what? I do know why. They've created so much money. You got to chase everything. But crude oil today, inventories came in worse than expected or better than expected, depending on how you look at it. Crude oil's down $1.12. Gold's up 3, 13.21. Silver's up 5 at 16.40. Got a great little special today. I'll call it the oh crap special, right? Jerome Powell doesn't know what the heck he's talking about, and just in case. It's always a good idea to have some fractional material, right? The fractions, the best, right? You like junk silver, 10th ounce American gold eagles, right? Just in case. Here's the problem, though, when you get into those smaller sizes. The price always gets super expensive. But when I put them on special, I put them on special. So today, you're going to get, I've got 50 packages. That's all I got. I only got 50. You're going to get a 1/10 ounce American Gold Eagle, and that's a real nice one because it's a 1/10 of an ounce. In the package, they're going to be $145. That's like cost. But $145, that alone is just incredible. But everything we do here, especially lately, just why we've been around for this long. And then I'm going to throw in a half roll of silver quarters. That way, just in case. I don't know. You don't know. I definitely can tell you this. Jerome Powell definitely doesn't know. Right? You can get a tank of fuel, right? You can fuel up the RV, fuel up the Suburban, whatever it may be. Right? That's, the 10th ounce will do that for you. And then the quarters, you can get some rice, you get some beans, maybe a loaf of bread, some eggs, just in case. The half rack of quarters. So you're going to get 20 quarters and a 1/10 ounce gold eagle. $210. Get you all 21 pieces. So the old crap, right? But you don't have to pay those high premiums. Not at Patriot Trading Group. 800-951-0592. Just put it away. And listen, especially when you're buying stuff like this, right? This is when you're like, okay, the price is fantastic. It's not, $210. And I know that's still a lot of money for a lot of people. You just put it away, and especially, man, you hope you don't have to use these, right? Because then it's gone horribly wrong. And think about why it is that the banks aren't paying for you to have your deposits there. Why? Think about who they're punishing. What they decided, when they were thinking about how are we going to fix the mess we got America in. I know Ben Bernanke with the courage to act, and then Janet Yellen, and now Jay Powell. Let's attack the savers. That's a great idea. Yeah, I got it. You know what? Let's go after the savers. Let's punish those guys. Why do you think it was the savers that got punished? Because when you don't pay for deposits, right, when you don't pay for savings, right, that's who you're punishing. You're punishing the savers. You're punishing the people that actually listened to you for decades and did what you told them to do. You're punishing success. Right? You're strangling freedom. Why do you think it is? Because that's where the money was. Right? Because they don't get it from let's face it, they don't want to take it from their friends on Wall Street. They don't, right? We know that. Matter of fact, if they're in trouble, they get a bailout. And now they've rewritten the laws to make sure your money that they're already not paying you interest on is going to be the money they use the next time around. But, hey, don't worry, Jerome Powell doesn't see, I don't see anything bad happening. So, feel good about that. 800-951-0592. Listen, you missed yesterday. Yesterday was great. The what we ran on those states yesterday was fantastic. I think this is equally as good because you don't get 10th ounce for $145. You don't. You don't get half racks of quarters for $65. And by the way, these are live in stock. All 50 packages are here right now. 800-951-0592. Take the time, put it away. And listen, I don't want them to be right. But common sense, stealing Dennis Prager, common sense tells me they're not. We know that. Because they never are. Right, and they want to, here's the funny part. I saw this thing where they said something like 70% of the managed money. So, you're getting advice from somebody, okay? 70% have been in the industry for 8 years or less. What the heck do they know? They've only known the manipulated type. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. A 10th ounce American Gold Eagle, a half a rack of quarters. That's 20 quarters and a 10th ounce, 210. I got 50. And I'll say this. This is how good of a deal it is. If I don't sell them all, you'll hear this show tomorrow because this is something. It's small. It's easy. Put it away because I think you're going to need it. By the way, and I apologize, I wanted to get to this a little sooner. The drive for cost cuts and higher margins at U.S. trucking and railroad operators pinching their biggest customers, forcing the likes of General Mills, Hormel, and others to spend more on deliveries and are going to start raising prices as a way to pass along the cost. Remember what I said. They're anticipating gas prices to be the highest in years this summer. Interview with 10 companies from across the food, consumer good, and commodity sector. Remember, that's pretty much all of them now. If you interviewed the 10, you pretty much got the whole supermarket there. They told Reuters that they're planning all to raise prices. They're just not going to say how much. They said that pretty much all of them are talking about raising prices, the prospect of higher prices. This is something I mentioned it a few weeks ago. Get ready. Chicken's getting ready to go through the roof. Chicken prices, cereals, snack costs from inflation, as they say, emerged as a distinct threat in recent weeks. But all across the spectrum, food prices, cream of wheat, Cheerios, which is General Mills, Tyson Food, Hillshire Farms, Jimmy Dean, all saying prices are heading up. But don't worry, because that's really not inflation. Well, at least not the inflation Jerome Powell cares about, because remember, food and energy don't count. 800-951-0592. The Dow is down 70. Gold's up. What, $3? Yeah, $3, 13.21. Silver is up 6 cents now at 16.41. 800-951-0592. These are all live, by the way. So if you're local and you want to come pick them up, you can. A 10th-ounce Gold Eagle, a half a rack of quarters for $2.10. If you want to put it on a credit card, Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, add $5. That's fair. Add $5, $2.15 if you want to put it on a credit card at 800-951-0592. And just as another reminder, we will be at KHNC in Johnstown March the 10th from 11 to 2. Food is provided. We're going to have barbecue there for everybody. Make sure if you're not working, be there. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have giveaways. We got all sorts of products. You can do business there. But more importantly, bringing some excitement back to KHNC, kind of, shades of the old 4th of July picnics. Who knows? Maybe we'll get back to that. Also, got a new show coming to Colorado. It's happening sometime in the middle of March. We'll announce the details as they come. 800-951-0592. Take care. Hey, enjoy the heck out of the hump day. We'll be back, hopefully, tomorrow.